I wonder, does Earl Wild sit and think, I don't know, maybe I want to be Gerard Schwarz conducting a little bit? What do you think?
Well, I conducted for quite a few years, and although I loved it, I loved the piano more.
Yes.
It was inside of me to be a pianist. There was nothing else. So I decided that I would be totally devoted to my instrument for the rest of my life. And that's been for about the last 30 years.
And why, although you played Chopin for us in the beginning,
yes,
why was it Liszt who seems to have occupied so much of your time?
Well, I've played so much Liszt this season. I must have played, many concerts. And I've just finished in England some Liszt concerts, so I decided to play something else.
No, but you know what I'm saying, throughout your career.
Oh, throughout my career. Well, I've always loved Liszt because, first of all, he was so inventive, so theatrical, and he had all the things that make excitement in music. And after all the people that followed him that were Lisztians were some of my favorites. Richard Strauss was a Lisztian, so was Mahler. And while the other school of music that the Brahms and the Clara Schumann school produced Dohnányi and a few people like this, but they didn't produce the great ones. And the Lisztian idea is so wonderful.
And when I asked you, did you ever see yourself in terms of conducting, you perhaps ever see yourself, certainly we talked about your career in trumpet, but ever even in terms of piano or other instruments?
Well, I love the piano. I still play the piano.
Oh, but he was a marvelous trumpet player. Why should he worry about the piano?
Well, the piano's it's much more fun to play the piano than to play the trumpet.
Do you mean that?
Oh, well, sure.
Why?
When Earl said he devoted himself to piano and left and stopped his conducting, I did the similar thing in my early 20s when I was getting many opportunities as a conductor through a number of dance companies I was conducting for. I kept pushing them away and saying, no, what I really want to do is play the trumpet. What I really want to do is play in the New York Philharmonic. Once I achieved that goal of playing in the New York Philharmonic, what I cared about all my childhood, my teacher was there and I took his place in the New York Philharmonic, I realized that maybe there was more to music for me personally, than playing my instrument. If I were a pianist on the level that I was a trumpet player, I might not have felt that way because, in fact, you can make music in a much more complete way as a pianist than you can as a trumpet player.
And not feel so constrained. We want so many of our viewers know you, of course, but we still want to share with them your wonderful world of conducting, and we have a film that will show you conducting Mozart. Let's watch. Wonderful conducting, the purpose of a conductor, to interpret the composer's music, to...
It's a complicated question in a sense. It's to teach the orchestra how to play the music. It's to make an orchestra play well and play together and play beautifully. And it's to do what Earl said, is to look beyond those notes and try to make the music have life of its own. And there's more to it than that even, because when it comes to the performance, you have to, if possible, try to inspire the musicians to go beyond what their capabilities are and beyond what you even rehearsed, if possible.
In that inspiration, Toscanini was known sometimes as a tyrant, really. For you, do you know different styles, and what would your style be described as?
I'm certainly not a tyrant.
Absolutely.
I don't know many tyrants anymore. I'm extremely demanding, but respectful of the human beings that I'm working with. And if you think about what a conductor does, he's conducting very often 100 highly intelligent, highly gifted, emotional people who've dedicated their lives in the same way that we have to playing an instrument. If you play a violin in an orchestra, it still means you started probably when you were 6 or 7 years old. You probably practiced 8 hours a day. You probably went to Juilliard or Curtis or some music school of that type. And you've dedicated your life to music. Most orchestra musicians have gone to college. They're highly intelligent, highly emotional. So I have a great respect for them, and as a result, I could never be a tyrant. Maybe when I'm 80 years old, if I, God willing, live that long, maybe I will then be a tyrant as Toscanini was.
You share us, we share you with Seattle. You're coming to New York. Is that a bad question? Do you ever see yourself with the New York Philharmonic? Zubin has a while to run on this, but I'm thinking after.
I think all one can say is that that position is not certainly available.
But is it something you would want?
It's hard to say. It's like saying, what would you like in your future? If I were offered you something that wasn't available, would you want it? The answer has to be that if it's not available, I've never thought about it in that way.
And if it were offered, you would not say no.
I couldn't really say until it was offered, if it ever would be.
Are you hearing that? Are you listening? When people, I hear you play, and as Gerard Schwarz said earlier, you played so beautifully. Do you find pianists today, in coming along, what is the route to becoming so good and so well established? Is it competitions? Is it what?
Oh, competitions are foolish.
Really?
Oh, yes. I have nothing to do with competitions anymore. They haven't produced what I call great artists because they're too young. You see, it's not that they're not great artists. They may be one day, but they're too young. It's like if you want to go if you're ill, you don't want to go to a doctor who just graduated from the medical school. You want to go to a doctor who has had a lot of experience and seen everything. But when I go to a concert, I like to go to hear somebody who's at least 40, because they have a lot of experience.
This man is under 40.
Yes, I know, but I mean, well, he's fine. There's nothing the matter with Joe. And the thing is that I want to go to hear somebody who's already had marvelous love experiences, had tragedies, the whole scene, so that when they play something, you hear something that's a little bit more advanced.
Let me ask Earl a question. If to take your thesis a little further, look at someone like Mozart, who died when he was 36. Does that mean that the music wasn't wonderful because he never reached 40, or Schubert, or?
No, that's the exception.
I see.
Oh,
I see. All those composers that died young are the exceptions.
There are the exceptions.
On the exceptions, can I just say that you are going to play some more music, and tell our viewers what you're going to play for us?
I'm going to play a piece by Moszkowski. It's called Etincelles, which means sparks. Horowitz played it at his last Moscow concert, and in the last period it was used as an encore piece.
All right, as you go over to play that. Yes, there are some perhaps in the world who would think maybe 40 is not the cutoff line. Earl Wild.